Hello, everyone, and welcome to another small screen Star Wars. As always, I am Julie Mush. I am joined by Rachel Wilkinson again.
Hi, I'm back.
You figured it out how to say hi and wave at the same time.
I did both today.
Yeah,
Getting it.
You're really
Episode
learning.
4 that I've been here, I'm getting it.
Yeah, and the 5th episode of this season of Clone Wars, which is called
Gone with a Trace.
Ugh. I didn't like it last time, and I didn't know what it meant, and I like it less now that I know what it means.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
so
great.
if you're new to this, what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be breaking down the latest episode of Clone Wars, or The Clone Wars, and on Disney+. If you don't have Disney+, what are you waiting for? It's only $5.99. Come on. Anyway, we're going to be spoiling the whole thing. Everything from Star Wars is up for grabs. Every film, every episode of the Clone Wars. If you don't know Star Wars and you care about getting spoiled somehow, tune out. But if you do like Star Wars and you don't care about being spoiled, or you have seen everything already, stay tuned because we're going to be diving deep into this week's episode. Even though neither of us liked it very much.
No, I know. I tried. I wanted to. I think I had just my expectations were too high, and that was my issue.
Yeah, I always find with life, you just keep your expectations real low.
That's usually how I do things, but I was so excited to see Ahsoka again, and then I was just...
Yeah. Okay, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Before we do, I just remind everyone to follow us on Twitter at Tower Babblecast, Facebook.com/Tower Babblecast as well, where you can see us live. We're broadcasting live to the internet. Where, hold on, checking.
Oh no.
Ones of people are watching.
Okay.
At least one person. If you're that person, please say hello in our group chat. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not talk about that. The point is, we are live to the internet on Facebook, Periscope, which is Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And Twitch is where we get the most interesting comments. Some nasty language. I just if you're gonna watch and you're looking for a little bit safe for work, I would just say stick to the other platforms.
Yeah.
Is all I would say.
It got real out of hand real fast.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, real weird.
You can't trust the internet, I guess,
No,
is the lesson.
that's our fault.
Anyway, those are the best places to watch and follow us on. And Twitter's the best place to keep up with what we're doing. This has nothing to do with you, so you can just tune out for a second.
Haven't
but
it's fine.
But so what we've been doing during this whole COVID-19 coronavirus craziness is what I've promised is that there's a lot of stuff that sucks these days, right? But you know what doesn't suck? Video games.
True. Very true.
So we've been deciding we're going to stream some more. So me and Dan from our regular show, the Tower Babble podcast, have been streaming. We streamed Call of Duty yesterday for, I swear to God, like 5 hours. It was a long time. It was really fun, though. So if you're into the Call of Duty, we're doing the Warzone, which is like a battle royale situation. A lot of fun. Highly recommend that. And we're going to be doing other stuff, maybe some Overcooked. Everyone likes Overcooked.
That was fun. I really enjoyed that game, actually.
Yes, it's very fun.
I don't play a lot of games, but I like that one. So.
Yeah, you just got to chop some onions, throw some onions in a pot, make some onion soup. It's not that hard, until all of a sudden you're chopping onions on a floating raft down the river.
Yeah. It's nice. It's reminiscent of my, restaurant job that's not existing right now. So
you're not really in the kitchen very often, though.
No, but it's a nice reminder. Yeah, it helps me feel like I'm back at home.
Is it a good thing? Like the
stress
craziness?
levels are the same.
It is actually insane. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Stress. Yeah.
Anyway, that is happening. So just stay tuned to the feeds for that kind of stuff. The other thing is, if you like anything that we do, and I hope you do, help support the show. I know it's a tough time. So if you're out of work or you're on EI or some combination of the thing, and we're even thinking about pausing the donations for now. But the Patreon is at patreon.com/Tower Babblecast. You help support the show. We do some bonus content. We do a film club every month. Maybe you can join one time. Maybe.
Depends
as an honorary member.
Depends how much Tom Cruise shit you do.
Lots. It's always Tom Cruise. We did Days of Thunder last month. It was so good. If you've never seen that movie, it's amazing. Anyway, okay. Let's get into the episode. Oh, we got Echo. A friend of the show, Cliff. You don't remember Cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently we have an echo. Cliff, what kind of echo are you dealing with? You tell us what kind of echo we've got, and we'll fix it, okay? Maybe it's a little mic bleed. It might be mic bleed.
I don't know any of those terms, so you're going to have to fix it.
I don't know.
It's probably me.
What kind of...
It's definitely me.
Hold on. I'm just going to look at this for a second. Can't imagine there's no... Oh, I see what's going on here. Fixed it. I fixed it. There was an echo.
Okay.
That mic was on.
Gotcha.
Sorry, guys. Really off to a great start. Listen,
yeah.
if you listen to the audio only one, you won't know that happened, except for until we told you.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, let's talk about Star Wars. Hey, Cliff, glad to hear from you. I'm your only viewer. Listen to my needs. Just a big ol' echo, he says.
Yeah.
But we fixed it.
Thanks, Cliff.
We fixed it, Cliff. It's good to hear from you. Hope you did. You're doing well in Edmonton. I assume that's where you still are. Okay, if you know a Cliff in Edmonton,
Say hi.
Give him your love. Okay, let's talk about Star Wars, which is what we're here to do.
That's why we're here.
This episode was very boring to me. That's my takeaway so far.
Yeah, it just felt like a filler episode, and I'm bummed that there's a filler episode when we only get 12 episodes.
Yeah. So I trying to like put myself in the mind space of the writers and trying to understand. Okay, what are we trying to do here? What do we want to do? Now I've heard a couple people. I wouldn't call them like. I don't know. They're a little bit they're Star Wars defenders. Star Wars can't do anything wrong. Their definition of what was good about this episode, and I'm not saying they're wrong, was that this was just a glimpse into the life of the regular person in Star Wars.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I do agree with that. And like you get little bits, like I didn't hate everything. There were like little things that I did like. But yeah, I just like overall, I just wanted more because I was like really pumped to see Ahsoka again.
What a weird score too, right?
It sounded like cartoons about teenagers from the 90s or like early 2000s.
It just felt like it felt very Disney.
Yeah,
you know?
it was just
Kevin
like do like I was like yeah, like these hijinks.
Yeah, exactly.
I hated it.
Kevin Kinner, who generally is the one who scores this, I don't know. I have to look it up. I assume he scored it.
Yeah,
it's a very it's intentionally light. It's very airy.
It is very light,
and it fits the tone, I guess, of the episode, but it's just like, whoa, it doesn't feel very Star Wars. There's parts of the very beginning I like because they use the Jedi theme.
Yeah.
The early on, and they use it a couple times, like 3 or 4, early on in the episode, when she's feeling lonely. You know, when she's missing the Jedi Order, they play the Jedi theme.
You can see
like,
her within struggle, right? Like, oh, should I have left? Should I go back? Like, I don't know if I can hack.
I don't think you can go back. I think once you quit, you can't come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have rules about that. No one really ever quits. It's not really it doesn't happen very often.
Not usually.
Actually, that's not true. People like
I'm sure they quit all the time.
People like Dooku quit all the time.
Yeah. The bad guys.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of those. If like across the video games, the books, and everything that's not the movies, there's a lot of Jedis that have gone bad.
Oh yeah, there's tons where they're just like, fuck this, I'm gonna go do my own thing. And
rules.
Tons.
Rules don't apply to me.
No.
Yeah. Danger is my middle name.
Well, that's why there's not that there's a scale, but you've got like
the gray.
You got your gray Jedi, and then you've got your Sith. So it's like, there's some gray Jedi in there. There's some other just rogue people that are kind of
they have force powers,
doing their own thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so the episode starts. It almost feels like it picks up like maybe like a day after she quit.
Yeah, you can't really tell. I mean, to me, her like, what are they called? Montrails? I think they're called Montrails. They looked a little longer, but maybe that's just.
I think they're Leku, or is that just for the?
I'm pretty sure they're called Montrails, but I can't remember.
Someone correct us. Okay.
I'm like 90% sure.
There's no one in here who can correct us.
They're called Montrails.
Okay.
But I think they looked a little longer to me, but maybe I could just be.
Like a character design thing, like they've clearly done. This is the first episode that I think. I don't know. I'm saying a lot of things that I can't necessarily back up, like the Kevin Kinner stuff.
I'll try and help you.
But this one might be like this is one of the first of this batch of episodes that we didn't really know anything about beforehand, right?
Yeah, I didn't know much about it, to be honest, but I didn't really deep dive.
And like I don't know if there was ever discussion about this arc, or maybe a little bit light discussion, like at least this early on. And it feels like it's very much of the new style of animation. It feels more.
It looked great.
It looks really good.
Beautiful. Yeah, I have no qualms with how it looked, and like, it sounds very superficial, but I really liked the way Ahsoka looked. I like that she has this little pantsuit going on. She's not just wearing like a fucking skirt anymore. Like, don't even get me started about that shit. But I'm so tired.
To be fair, she was started with like a bikini top.
Yeah, she had like this tiny little tube top and a skirt, and I was like, fuck off with that shit. Also,
it's like a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like I said,
George Lucas is a weird guy. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
It was fucking weird. So I like to see her have a more mature look, and she gets that later on with like her fulcrum look too in Rebels. Yeah, no, but I like
Later
this
on,
kinda
she
new.
adopts the look of like big robes. She's just a big fan of robes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I never got to have those when I was a Jedi.
hiding.
She never got to have those Jedi robes.
Yeah. Well, she's in secret. She's trying to
Yeah.
cover up a little bit.
So then don't look like a Jedi.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
Just not look like a Jedi.
yeah. Okay, so the episode starts. She's on her, what I think is really cool design for a speeder bike. It looks like a chopper.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Chopper from Rebels.
Yeah.
But
One of my faves, but
yeah, you know, lots of people like Chopper.
yeah, he's good.
Romp, romp.
Yeah.
Anyway, it starts on this really cool chopper, and it's there. She's going to like that big hole in the ground. There's a bunch of those around Coruscant, but there's one that just takes you down to the different levels.
Yeah.
And then it's playing the sad music, and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. This will be good. And then all of a sudden, then the hijinks starts where our bike stops working, and this looks a lot like a homage to Star Wars 1313, the canceled video game.
Oh, okay.
Because
not super familiar with that.
One of the only things we ever saw about that video game was we were going to play this episode while we're talking. One of the only things we saw or knew about that game was they showed us, like, I think it was an early preview at E3, really early on, like in the process before, like it was really supposed to be a Boba Fett game, but at the time they didn't reveal that character was Boba Fett, and it was like this big secret. And the opening cinematic, or the cinematic that they show us at that E3, was coming down that big hole in the ground,
right?
That she's in, and there's like a ship that looks a lot like the ship that she like runs along, and knocks, like it's very similar to that, and then she lands on level 13.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's like it's not I don't think that's a coincidence.
Probably not.
You
no.
know?
They like to do those little Easter egg things, like leave that for people who can pick them up, right? So yeah, no, and I believe that level 2 is supposed to be more kind of crime.
It's more seedy.
Yeah,
but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I'm all about like connections and keeping things like together. Star Wars is really all about that because it's the giant galaxy, but everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
But there's the video game 1313, and they've actually been to level 1313 before in this show.
Okay.
I don't know what season it was, but there's a whole arc where they're in the like lower levels of Coruscant, and they go to, I think maybe it's not 1313, but it's like 1312 or 1314, and it's like we're really everything takes place within like 3 blocks of each other in Coruscant. Apparently,
yeah.
It's like, come on, all right,
yeah.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's the same kind of level she was around when,
right,
like her and Ventress were running around like in the last.
Yeah,
season
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So anyway, we're watching a bit of the episode here, and she's falling down the hole. And
I do like this scene. I didn't mind. Like she's kind of like, it's a little hijinks. She's like running across some of the things and being like, "Oh, sorry," like causing accidents.
Life is
like,
really hard for her now that she's out of the order, and I'm okay. Like I'm actually totally okay with that like idea.
Mm-hmm.
What it does make me think about though is how insanely impractical flying cars are on Coruscant.
Yeah.
All it takes is a breakdown, and you could instantly
Plummet
die.
to your death. Yeah.
Like what? You know? And if you're not a Jedi, you would be dead. Ahsoka should have been like dead. You should be dead right there.
Yeah, well, that's probably why a lot of people die in Coruscant. I don't know.
Well, that's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Still.
No one cares.
And later on, like, is it so? Trace is like, yeah, she literally fell from the sky.
Yeah. 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 Into a garage.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Very convenient.
Very conveniently fell into a garage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Also, for someone who's poor, she has a whole garage.
I don't think they really said they're poor. They're just.
They have no money.
Yeah, I guess they live by their means. Like they make a little money here. They have a whatever, a spot. But
okay, so what happens next? We're basically at the part where
we're talking. Yeah.
So she meets Trace.
Yes.
Right. This lovely lady with a cool like side cut haircut thing, buzz cut on the side.
Very modern.
Yeah, very
haircut.
cool.
I saw someone actually online was kind of pissed about that.
It's like because it looked too modern.
Too modern. Yeah, they're just saying like like it's a little like. Not really Star Warsy enough. But
it's kind of hard to describe what that means.
But it is a very like.
It looks like out of
her whole look is like she could have literally just walked off the street.
Yeah,
from our time
in like
into Star
off
Wars.
of off the human world of Earth, right? Yeah. Fair enough. I get that criticism.
Yeah.
What? Okay. What about the feather? Like overcoat that her sister has. Do you think that's Star Warsy? Because it doesn't look Star Warsy to me.
It looks more what was it? Like I could see
I
someone
guess Lando could pull off
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say I could see a Lando or like a Hondo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got some people saying hi. We'll say let's say hold on.
How's that chat so far? Nice.
So far, everyone's being nice. So it's like it seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Although this person's saying that someone's coming for them, so I don't believe that. So anyway, I'm just going to ignore the chat for most of this. But if you are there and saying hello, we say hello back.
Yeah.
Okay. So her whole deal. Okay. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
What's Ahsoka up to?
Yeah, I guess that's what we just don't know, and maybe that's what they're setting up here. It's like
Right.
she's obviously trying to get somewhere, and then her shit breaks down. I think so. Either if it's getting away or to go, like she's just trying to get away.
From what?
The Jedi Order in her life.
They weren't coming for her.
No, not that she's running away. It's
Right.
just like she's leaving, and she's trying to like figure out what to do with her life now. I think so. She's kind of like, I don't know.
Well, she's certainly having second thoughts, right? She's fixing her bike. Yeah. She's doing what she can.
Yeah. She's basically getting told by Trace, like, nothing's for free. I'm not going to give you tools for free. I'm not going to fix your bike for free. So
I feel like there's this
learn how it is.
Yeah, it's like you're not from around here, are you? It's like there's this very cliche stuff about like, you know, we're from the streets and we got to work for everything we got, and you're from the upper levels.
Up there.
Must be nice. You know,
like she didn't know that at first, but Trace didn't know that at first.
Yeah. She does.
Ahsoka alludes to it. She's like, "Oh yeah," but then Trace says, "Like you're probably better off down here." Anyway.
What does that mean? I don't like that line. It's like a compusult.
I think because she follows it up when they're talking about, she's like, "Oh, those Jedi running around starting wars." So I think that's what she means. Like you're better off down here than being up there, where like the Jedis don't give a shit.
There's clones everywhere.
Yeah, it's war. So it's like down here, it's real life. It's not.
Right. It's not affected by the war. Not really.
That is one of the things I actually liked about this episode is they're kind of like they're not that they're setting up Order 66, but they're setting up just little things here and there.
The idea that people would believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise you're like, well, if everybody thought the Jedi were great, then like why would they believe that? Why would they believe that they turned? So at least they're kind of showing you how some other people feel about it. They're like, oh no, like there isn't actually like full support for the Jedi. Some people think they're causing the war.
Star Wars is really good at once every blue moon having a normal person say, "What's a Jedi?" or "Oh, those jerks." You know, like they're really good. Like they do that like just often enough. They're like, "Okay, I guess I can believe that everyone forgot they existed after 15 years,
or that they were myths, or that they
like it's like, come on, they weren't around that. They weren't. It was like not even a full generation ago.
It's true, yeah. Not that they were myths, but some people being like, "Oh, is that even real?" So you can kind of see that, but you can.
Like
that's
Han,
exactly those little things.
Right.
They allude to it where it's, you know.
So I do like there's this concept that they introduce here in this episode as well, or not introduced, but this idea of people feeling like they're forgotten by the Jedi, or
right,
that
or they're not being taken.
They're not being taken care of, and it's like, you know, they kind of got a point. It's not like they're around policing Coruscant, and it's not that that's necessarily their job, but they are supposed to be keeping the peace, right? And it's clearly not working. You know, but you know. Obviously not, because half the galaxy is just smugglers and criminals of some kind.
Right.
But like, there's the Jedi Temple is on Coruscant, and yet people on Coruscant never see them.
Yeah, they're not helping the people that are actually on that planet. They're going elsewhere and helping other people.
Where's
other areas.
Where's Anakin saying, "Don't do death sticks" or whatever he says?
You don't need to sell me death sticks.
I don't need to sell you death sticks.
Yeah,
I'm going to go home and rethink my life.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to sell me death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. That's Obi-Wan for you.
Oh, is that Obi-Wan?
It's Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Why would it be? Yeah, no, it's Obi-Wan.
Yeah, right, you're right. You're absolutely right. Obi-Wan loves the mind trick.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't want to get
Obi-Wan
into it.
just loves being like a dad. Like,
does he? Does he love being a dad?
He's Jedi dad. Like, he's constantly just like going around just being like, I wouldn't do that. And just being like,
I told you so.
Yeah, shaking his finger.
Yeah. What did I tell you? No, we should really report that to the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't really know Anakin like I do. Ooh,
yeah.
He's a real handful.
Yeah, he's trouble.
Anyway. Okay. So, Trace, then they get like accosted by some thugs. Because her sister owes them money. Right? Now, not much happens here except for we watch Trace get beat up for a bit.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka comes in and kicks butt, and kicks a guy in the between the legs, just right between the legs. These really tall. I don't know if they are green themselves or just wearing green clothes.
I think they're green. I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is they're a new kind of like design. Maybe we've seen them before, but they're kind of cool looking. Very thuggish. And anyway, they get their butts kicked by Ahsoka, who like it'd be like walking into a bar fight and then some guy just pulls out kung fu.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
and just
much.
like beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like she does like spin kicks and stuff, and like no one's even using their legs here. It's just like they're just punching each other. Right?
Yeah, she just kind of.
It's a cool thing. It's clearly like you're obviously not from around here.
Yeah, you're just like, the fuck? Like, they're obviously trying to introduce a little bit.
She does
of her
she does a fucking like disco like breakdance move.
Yeah,
and like kicks everyone in the knees. It's cool.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the like kick in the nuts. I was like, really, like this shitty slapstick humor. I don't know. This whole episode.
And then they're like, ba-dum-bum-bing.
Yeah, it felt very juvenile. It just. Yeah.
I want to like an episode that explores Ahsoka's difficulty with leaving the order.
No, me too. But I want it to be more substantial.
Yeah, I just don't like the way that they did it.
Yeah.
And I like seeing seedy parts of Coruscant.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. I don't need to see, here's what I don't need to see. I don't need to see Star Wars version of a laundromat.
No.
Which looks just like our version of a laundromat.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah.
Except everything's square instead of round. But like.
Yeah.
Okay. What is there even left to talk about? I feel like with this episode, like we're watching it in real time. We have to. I guess we have to deal with her sister. Do you even remember her name?
It's Seth.
It's a very Star Wars name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's a jerk, essentially.
Yeah.
But like the worst. I think the biggest mistake. Not the biggest crime. The biggest crime this episode makes is the line of dialogue where she says, "What did I always teach you? We can only rely on ourselves," or whatever she says.
Yeah.
It's like, could you have pulled that? That is the most cliche line ever written. And like that's
like
saying a lot.
two sisters that are struggling on their own.
Yeah. Like come on. Like just try just a little bit harder to come up with something a little bit more unique than that, right? Or a unique perspective. Like maybe that's how everyone else thinks and everyone else is treated that way, but we don't, we're not going to stoop to those kind of those depths where we still believe in humanity. Something like that's a little bit more hopeful. No, it's like no, we can only trust in ourselves, and we don't trust you because you're not from around here.
Yeah.
Like we don't take kindly to your taps around here.
Yeah, that's like the one sister, so she's kind of like and
she also has a super modern haircut, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the one that's like more easy, like obviously Trace is the one that's a little bit more like trusting, a little bit more like, what's the word? Non-criminal? No, that's non-criminal.
Well, she's a little bit more naive.
She's a little more like, hey, we shouldn't be doing illegal stuff, and whereas her sister is a lot more, wants to steal out of people's dryers. And
yeah. So wait, she owns the laundromat, but she's stealing out of people's.
Yeah. It's like she owns the laundromat. And she's trying to pretend there's like that she has a secret droid factory behind it, which she really doesn't.
Yeah, it's just a fucking room.
Yeah. So she's just trying to like scam these guys, and she knows that they have like a garage and they can probably fix up these droids, but she's just trying to make an extra buck, right? By making it seem like she's got this secret factory and these people that know what they're doing, and like, oh yeah, like I build the best droids around.
Yeah.
So
you clearly know quality.
Yeah.
I like this like this kind of like back and forth between her and this like other criminal dude. It is kind of fun. He's like, my business partner. It's like clearly you're the dude. You're clearly the dude. There's
like
no
both
other
talking about their associates and business partners.
Right.
It's,
like, you're the guy. We all know you're the one.
Yeah, and we both know that you both know you're talking about it yourselves.
Yeah, but because there's other people there. Right. Okay, so do you remember? Do you know which episode they had to deal with these droids before? These they're like
these
record droids. Yeah.
Not really. No. Have they dealt with these before?
Well, she says she has, which makes me think that we've seen it in an episode, but I didn't do my research and look that up beforehand. So my bad.
I can't remember. Yeah, I honestly can't remember. It obviously wasn't like an eventful episode.
Right. Well, she talks about how she doesn't really trust droids, right?
Of course. I think maybe it's not necessarily them as wrecker droids. I think maybe she knows that they can be more of like attacking droids.
Well, she said that they're like poorly programmed and then like they easily like manipulated or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I'm honestly not
I like
too
this. So
sure.
she's like, she starts talking to her, and then she forgets to put the restraining bolt on.
Bolt on. Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole like action part of this episode is because she forgot to put a restraining bolt on.
Oh yeah, they're just chasing these stupid droid.
Yeah.
Like for I don't know, throughout the city.
Like instantly starts to try to break shit.
Yeah. Which like kind of funny, a little comical, like this big stupid droid, and it's just wants to wreck shit, but but
restraining bolts.
Yeah, so I guess Ahsoka's just proving your point, like, hey, these are dangerous. Maybe you guys shouldn't be fucking with this kind of stuff.
But like they're criminals. She knows that. She's like, what else are they gonna do?
No, it's true.
They're turning on. She's
make
like,
an extra.
Did you put that restraining bolt on? No, it's in your hand.
Yeah.
Right. Whoa, I'm out of here.
Runs away.
Yeah.
It is a comical episode.
Yeah. And listen, it's no worse, I feel like, and it's probably better than some of the R2 and C-3PO episodes.
Yeah.
No. Because those ones can also fucking suck. In my opinion, because they're just to me, they're very boring.
I disagree.
You think this is better? You think this is worse than the R2? Worse. I know you just love R2.
I do love R2, and I like those droid episodes because I think they're funny. I do think they're funny. And okay, if they threw one of those episodes in this last season where I want to see shit get resolved,
this is the same shit.
It doesn't matter. If this same episode that we're watching, whatever, right now was a season ago, I probably wouldn't mind it so much. But I mind it because it doesn't have as much substantialness for a season that's only 12 episodes.
Yeah. It's
it's
you're
filler.
Use
I'm
8%.
No.
This is 8% of the whole season.
Yeah, it's
whatever
like
that math
something
is.
better. Like show me a quicker way, and maybe it's setting other shit up, right? Like Ahsoka's new life is going somewhere with this now.
Well, we know eventually it leads to her going to Mandalore.
Yes,
but it's like here's what I'm thinking, because it's so stupid. He's just throwing random shit at random cars.
Yeah.
But it's like if the whole thing just leads to none of this matters and I'm just going to go do the same shit I was always doing, then like what's the point of this? You know? Or I mean, this gives her perspective, right? And at some point they're going to say like you're welcome, or you're welcome back, or some version of that.
Yeah.
Before Order 66 happens, and then she's like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, I just want to see where she's like, obviously, and they're going to show you, but I want to see where she goes and what happens to her with Order 66. And
Mandalore.
I assume they're going to show it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it just go fucking straight there and show me more of that than like this garbage. Like I
don't know.
Like
it's gonna be her and Rex versus the world for a bit.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking cool.
That's
none of this garbage.
Yeah,
we're literally watching a giant robot just run around a city street.
Like, yeah, it's like, and they're chasing it in a forklift, and like, it's just, it's too much shenanigans for me. Like, I like,
and it's hard to complain because it's like the show has always been like, or had shenanigans. And
that's what I mean. I don't mind. I like I said, I wouldn't mind this in a different season, but I don't like it here.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. It's just we don't have time to mess around. Okay, so. Let's fast forward. I'm not literally going to fast forward, but let's fast forward into this episode, because the most interesting part of this episode is when they have grabbed the droid and they have they're like, finally we got it, and it like falls backwards.
Yeah.
And she's got the
pulley system.
pull hook thing on it. I don't know what you call that. A winch. It's called a winch. And the winch is going to fail.
Right.
And she uses the Force to like pull it back up.
Yeah. It's
now,
like.
Do people, and only that, and that kid notices.
Just the one kid. Yeah, everyone's pretty focused on like, oh no, what's happening? So they're not really seeing Ahsoka back there, kind of like using her Force powers. So she is obviously trying to hide her Force powers. So yeah,
it's extremely dangerous with what's happening. Right now.
Oh, for sure. Even this whole time, I was like, when is she gonna start using her Force powers?
Everyone is so like casual about. I mean, I guess Star Wars has always been very casual. Like, no, there's no fucking guardrails or anything. I think
so much crazy shit happens all the time in Coruscant that people aren't really phased when weird shit happens.
They're like,
okay. Like another thing threatening our lives.
Yeah,
like, that's day to day.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. It's like that's just the normal.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, this is where we're watching it now. But basically, she's pulling it back. She uses her Force powers. This little Twi'lek sees, and this is another cliche thing that we normally see post Order 66.
Yes.
Which is this: I can't use my powers because if I do, it exposes me and it puts everyone here in danger.
Right.
Right. And ultimately gets everyone killed, because that's usually what happens.
The
Emperor comes and just shoots everybody.
Then Vader comes and just fucks everyone up.
Yeah, exactly. So, so she pulls it back with the Force, and the music's really nice there. And the Twi'lek's like, "Whoa, wow, look at that."
Yeah. Cool.
And no one seems to notice, which is like very different than what we normally see. But like, here's the thing: in this era where we are now, someone using the Force powers, it's just like you're either a Jedi or who gives a shit.
Yeah, usually you're a Jedi, and maybe that's just why she's kind of trying to hide it. Is she doesn't want people to know because she's left the Order, and she's just like, okay, like I kind of need to put this under wraps.
Yeah,
because otherwise, people are
people ask questions,
whatever. Yeah,
or use you as leverage, try to sell you out.
Yeah, it is interesting getting to see that though. Getting to see the first instance of like a Jedi actually concealing their powers and feeling like they need to before Order 66 happens. Right.
I'm sure we've seen it before in other places, but this is like a good example of it.
Yeah,
sure.
No, it's just so that's fair. Like I don't mind that part at all. Like that's what I mean. There's a few parts in this that I did appreciate and I did like, but
right. And then after that, Trace's sister turns out she sold the droids anyway for double.
Yeah. What did she call it? A Twi'lek? She called it something like a Twi'lek save or like a Twi'lek, something involving a Twi'lek.
She's like, yeah, like that idiot just bought these for
no.
price.
It was like a word of like as if you would like it was almost like a I don't know how you call them. My brain's not
so
today.
hold on. So they go to the wharf. Where the fuck is this lake? Is it on level 1313?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
it's man-made lake.
Yeah,
it's got lothcats running
and
around.
It's green.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like a lake you'd want to swim in. I do like the idea of seeing like what a Star Wars like lake / like coast like a little I don't even know what you call it, like a wharf essentially would look like.
Yeah, like a gross little man-made river.
Yeah,
most likely is what that is. Could be sewage. Who knows?
It's probably sewage.
Yeah,
but they're just sitting by.
Sewer.
Yeah, they're just sitting by the water,
hanging out by it.
Yeah.
The music in the background's very 80s, as we talked about.
Yeah, well, they're listening to like 80s tunes, and which is like
it's kind of cool.
I'm kind of okay with that because Star Wars is like it's born in the 70s, but it like really lived in the 80s, and like
that was my favorite score of the whole episode.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Anyway, what's the lesson? What do they even take away from this? I guess Trace has second thoughts about this whole life of crime thing.
I think it's kind of just setting up the dynamic between her and her sister, where it's like she keeps being like, I don't think we should do this, and I don't want to do this anymore, and her sister keeps being like, I'm taking care of you. I need to do this to take care of you and us, and it's for us, and
right. And eventually it's going to end up with her doing something like she goes too far, and she can't follow.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
And then someone dies, probably her sister. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, oh, here, like I sold the droids for double, and like now you have money for tools. So
it's like, oh, great, crime pays. Or it's like it's all worth it.
Yeah, it's like it's for us, to.
It's like, it's like. Good intent. Well, that's not even good
for
intentions.
For the greater good.
Well, it's like all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
It's
like,
cares?
we're not hurting anyone.
Yeah. Not directly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, it ends at the wharf, and that's the episode. And it didn't really do a lot for me. I know there's a lot of. I think we're in the majority in terms of what people thought about this episode.
Yeah, I usually am one of the people that like I try to really love everything, but.
Oh man, that buzz followed me all the way over here. We moved all the equipment over here, and the buzz still.
No, I just heard that start just now. I started hearing that buzz.
I'm really annoyed. I'm gonna get new cables and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I really wanted to like it. Normally, I'm the person who tries to, and especially with Ahsoka, I just really wanted to like this episode, and it was hard. Like, there's bits and pieces that were okay, but overall, it was a little bummed. I just wanted a little bit more substance.
Yeah, I'm with that. It ultimately, it just feels too light for what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm hoping it goes somewhere. Like, not that I need to see these characters.
Do we
again,
care about Trace and her sister? We can't even remember her name.
No, I don't. But I hope that this story goes somewhere more substantial for us.
We made a joke there, like, we don't need new characters right now, but like the Bad Batch is new characters.
Yeah. We caught ourselves.
But like, also,
I don't want these new characters.
But also, I don't really care about the Bad Batch. They're just clones. Yeah. They're also a bunch of stereotypes. Like, Yeah,
they were interesting enough, and I was fine with it.
I'm always like new clones.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
I'm thinking back. I'm a little disappointed by the action in last week's episode. I feel like it's a lot of like noise, and it's not. But it's like not actually that interesting. There's some really cool moments with some jetpacks and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like
lightsaber wise, very light.
Yeah,
except for a very distinct stabbing.
Yeah, I don't need every episode to be like full of action either.
No,
but if it's not full of action, I need more story.
Well,
so it's got to be one of the two.
I don't need story. I want story. In Star Wars, like. I'm more about like I want character than story, but with Star Wars, I really want story.
I know.
And I also want characters. So I like Ahsoka. There are some good character work here. But because it's essentially devoid of any kind of major plot line that we're aware of at this time, it's hard to care.
It is.
You know?
Maybe we'll look back on it in a few episodes,
No,
I hope, and it'll
not.
be like, okay.
There's no way that's happening.
Yeah.
We can look back on it, but
trying to be positive here.
I know. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I just hope next week is better. I had my expectations high this week and it punched me in the gut, but I don't know. I'm going to keep them high for next week.
Okay.
I'm going to keep that hope.
Do we know what the name of next week's episode is?
I don't.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it is consistent with my not having
hated them all.
No,
so.
not having done any research for this episode of this podcast. But I haven't hated all the names. Just this one was particularly bad.
It was bad. It was like, oh, I get it. Gone with a Trace because her name's
And also,
Trace.
like, what's the rest of it mean? Is Ahsoka gone with a Trace?
She's gone. Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Or the droid's gone with a Trace? Like, what are you talking about?
It was all pretty bad.
Okay. I don't know. It's easy to complain. I apologize. I like Star Wars.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I liked her outfit.
God damn it. Okay, well, on that note, follow us on Twitter at TowerBabbleCast, Facebook.com/TowerBabbleCast. Head over to TowerBabblePodcast.com, where you find everything we do, and help support the show at Patreon.com/TowerBabbleCast. And we'll be back next week with more Star Wars.